Hello everybody, it's the Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is dedicated to One Piece, Chapter 817, Raizo of the Mist. We've got a nice little color page cover this week, mostly just an advertisement of the upcoming One Piece film Gold. Got a nice little picture. I'm actually kind of curious to see this one. I mean, you said you haven't really watched the movies for a long time, but I'm actually interested in this one. Because some of the stuff I've seen of it, like you've got like a casino thing going right here, and some of the stuff I heard about it makes it sound like it's going to be kind of like a Wild West theme.
Interesting.
Yeah. The chapter proper, we're out at sea, and apparently shock and oh no, Jack is still alive.
Oh my gosh, who saw that coming?
Wanda.
And,
he seems to be annoyed that the paper is reporting him dead.
well, I mean, I'm sure most of these guys would be, right? So, because they want to be feared, and so then we go back to Zoe, where Kinemon shows everyone, the fact that he is part of the Kozuki, or
real quick, slight thing. The name changed between chapters. Last chapter it was the Kogetsu clan. This chapter it's Kozuki.
Oh yeah.
Still same kanji, still same meaning, but like for some reason it changed.
And this was not a translation thing. They said like this actually changed in the actual chapter.
Yeah, I even took a look at the raws and confirmed it.
Yeah. So I guess maybe Oda made a mistake.
Or someone did there, like a printer maybe. But he's got a crest on his back. Looks like a picture of a bird. On there.
Yeah. So he wears he's showing that he has the family crest of the Kozuki, or previously known as the Kogetsu family. And then that actually maybe. So well, actually I'll talk about that later. But so basically. They talk about their preconceptions about what would have happened, but it's like, oh, it turns out everything was okay.
Yep. I was figured to get in a full-on brawl with the minks. Whew. I mean, of course, in Robin Hood, it's not like there wasn't a good reason not to tell them. Like,
yeah. So I think it turns out that.
Nami notes that she heard them talking that Cat Viper and Dogstorm both have the same kind of crest on them.
Yeah, and it turns out that they met each other before, the Kinemon and the two leaders, and basically it's kind of funny because the two leaders start arguing again.
Yeah, pretty much immediately.
These guys, what happened?
I don't know
what happened because actually, the kid
Momonosuke
actually says that they used to be friends, and he tells them to stop bickering. And he's like, so even so, if the reason for your I remember now. So he mentions that the reason why they're quarreling is because of his dad, but he said that if his dad saw them behaving like that, then his dad would be really sad. So apparently, whatever.
But this confuses the Straw Hats momentarily. Like, what do you mean, father? He's right there.
Yeah,
we'll get that.
That confused me, by the way, too. I was like, wait, what the frick?
I haven't seen theories about this one for a while, so I wasn't really shocked by it.
Yeah, I've actually was suspicious. I thought that I actually thought that Kinemon was part of the family, but then he says retainer, which means that he's actually working for them.
He's a servant, yeah.
Yeah, he's a servant, which is like, okay, then and then so when he actually. So when he said this my father and the father is different, I was kind of surprised, but not really, like
yep.
I guess something's changed. Okay.
Yep. And at the mention of the father, I think this is what you were about to do. Like Dogstorm and Cat Viper immediately bow down to the ground and apologize, which shocks everybody there.
Yeah.
Of course, then they realize that the child is indeed Lord Momonosuke in every sense of the word. And this is when Kinemon explains that Lord Momonosuke is not his actual son. The child you see before you is the heir to the great daimyo of Kuri of the Wano Kingdom. And okay, this is a small thing, and I don't know if this must be a manga stream this year, because they're saying like Oden Kozuki or Momonosuke Kozuki. They aren't doing the name flip.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right.
And I've seen the raw of this one because I followed the spoiler thread, and the raw specifically had it as Kozuki Momonosuke.
Yeah, they probably effed up. That's fine.
It seems a weird f up though, given all things. Maybe they think maybe it's a thing that maybe it's a liberator taken since these are actual Japanese names.
Yeah. So basically they're like, oh, forgive us for not recognizing you, and so basically it turns out that he is, his dad was pretty influential,
Yep.
especially with the minks, and basically Kinemon says like, well, we pretend to be father and son to avoid any discovery,
Yeah.
and that it's not like we didn't trust you, but we just didn't feel like it was ever the right time for us for revealing the truth.
Yeah.
So
I like Brooks' little commentary. Like, they sure do look alike.
I mean I mean they did seem like father and son. That's the thing. Like their relationship was nowhere at all anything. I mean, you can argue that's because they were hiding it, but I mean, it really did seem like they were father and son.
Maybe they're.
And at the same time, even if they weren't, even if they're not biological, he has been taking care of Momonosuke, so you can argue that he's kind of like a surrogate father.
Yeah, easily, and it could be he could be like the cool uncle type of thing, like the honorary uncle. So they're very close.
Yeah. I don't know about your dad, but you're definitely a deviant. I'm your dad.
And it was like just like whatever, picking his nose in his face. Like, what do you mean, whoever? I do not appreciate your uppity tone. And this is me caring. Like, he gives no fucks. He's just
it's true though. Like, why would Momonosuke is just suddenly becoming an asshole? You know, I was like, oh, now I don't like you even more. Speaking of not liking him, I mean, so it's interesting, but then there's a bit of fighting, and then Kinemon and I forgot his other name. Kanjuro talk about it, and then Momonosuke basically goes into Nami's breast, and it gives this really. I mean, he gave the stare a lot, but it's just weird seeing it now.
Yeah.
He gives the look to Kinemon and Kanjuro, and just like, get away from her, Lord Momonosuke, you little deviant.
Of course, Nami is no better. Because like, oh, Momo, my dear, if your daddy is a lord, then he must have treasure in his castle, right?
Get the bricks!
Like, the moment she realizes he's loaded, her tone changes completely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's her character. So, basically, the Cat, Viper, and Dog Lord basically say, like, okay, let's call a truce. We'll just cause Lord Momonosuke to suffer. So, for the sake of the Lord, let's keep everything civil, although they still don't like each other.
Yeah.
So it shall be! Oh, it's a miracle!
I love the being like, they're finally making up. This is the power of the Kozuki clan. Of course, they haven't actually made up, but whatever, let them have their moment.
Well, good enough.
Yeah.
Better than fighting every single second.
Yep. And then at this point, they start climbing the giant whale tree. Apparently, because that's apparently where Raizo is being kept. And everyone's all excited at seeing the idea of a real ninja.
Ninja. I was half expecting to see someone like Naruto.
Yeah. Like I say, we'll get to that part in a moment here, but one thing that's very telling right here is that the Momonosuke is kind of having a tough time because the closer they get to the whale, the more he can hear this loud voice. And apparently his father can do much the same. And the Dogstorm and Cat Viper also mentioned someone who could do much the same thing. Do you know what they're likely referencing here?
Right, you mean Raizo?
No. Well, Momonosuke and his father for sure, but Dogstorm and Cat Viper are also remembering someone who can.
I know. Goldie Roger, right?
Gold Roger, right?
Yeah. Because he could hear the voices of we'll talk about it later, but there's a voice that comes from something. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I didn't really do it much the first time, and I meant to come back to it, but I'm going to keep an eye on Luffy as we do all this.
Oh.
Like, he doesn't seem to be ready to do it at all, but at the same time, and anyway, on the tail of the whale tree, there's like a little hidden door. They go in, there's like a big long stairs. There's a guy screaming down there. And when they finally see the ninja, we finally meet Raizo of the Mist, and they've actually chained him up to keep him from so he wouldn't give himself up to Jack.
Yeah, so basically he was a pretty nice guy who says, he wanted to turn himself.
Yeah, and that, at the very least, this part I'm glad about, because I would have been mad if they had some trivial or silly reason for him keeping him not doing it if he were actually there. But in this case, they forcefully kept him from doing it, so there you are. Hey, and it says a lot about Raizo as well, that he would be so willing to do that. Meanwhile, let's say we see him, and like I said, he almost looks like he's like a big-headed guy in like ninja outfit, and he's chained to a wall, which will be pretty important here in just a few moments.
Well, first I'd like to ask you, what was your first reaction to seeing what he looked like?
Well, not so much here, but as it kind of looked on, I kind of looked at it later. My initial impression was like a Rastafari version of that ninja from Dragon Ball, Sergeant Purple, I think he was.
I was actually expecting him to kind of. I was expecting him to be different. It's interesting. I imagine to be kind of like Luffy, but I was thinking to myself like, I feel like this. I feel like the way it's gonna work is that he's gonna look something like completely opposite, and that was the case.
I am wondering if the little crescent moon thing he's got on his head is going to be significant some way.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
Especially since the name of the clan means moon.
Maybe because he's an actual member of the clan. I don't know. But anyway, so Luffy and everyone else, basically all the guys,
well,
like, what a letdown. We wanted a ninja.
Like,
so yeah.
Yep. And then on the high wall, Robin notices the crest of the Kozuki clan in that room as well. But along with that, a red poneglyph. That is a new thing.
Yeah. And so I think this is the best reveal in the sense that the voices are coming from the poneglyph, which
presumably.
is presumably because that's what Go Roger had, and it seems like and they were getting closer to the poneglyph, so it makes sense that that's where the voices were coming from. Because it's been mentioned before that they do give out voices to certain people.
And Dogstorm is aware that Robin likely can read those letters. She asks why it's red, but this one is apparently for some different purpose than the other stones. And she asks permission to read it, and they grant it to her, so she goes off to do that, apparently. Meanwhile, the guys are all just staring at the ninja. His head is as big as they are. Like,
I know, right?
It's like Ivankov. He's like a ninja Ivankov.
That's true. That's actually pretty true.
Yeah. Anyway, it's like they introductions are going through, and Luffy, Chopper, and Usopp are like, they want to see some ninjutsu. Like show some earth jutsu. No, fire is much better. No, like, water's the best. The guy's like, turn it down. Why would pirates want? It has nothing to do with us being pirates. All men are obsessed with ninjas.
Well, I feel like this is Oda. I think this is Oda's basically putting his personal feelings into this.
Yeah.
Because it's like I was thinking to myself like these guys have been watching Naruto somehow.
Yeah.
Earth release.
Alternatively, Oda's not a fan of the whole pirate versus ninja thing.
Possibly because that's always been like the very eternal debate.
Yeah, and then I love the fact right here that was like Usopp's asking if he's ever gone out with the kunoichi. Like Luffy wants to see him like jump higher with a growing piece of bamboo. Like Law pops in. It's like I'd like a display of clone jutsu would be nice. And then,
clone jutsu.
And then Zoro's like hide in the ceiling and get pierced by a spear. Take out a scroll and say nin nin. And real quick, I mentioned this to you before, but between Law, to a lesser extent Zoro, and also Robin, and also like on a separate note, Detective Conan's eye Haibara, I am discovering that the serious character who gets invested in the silliness is turning into one of my favorite kinds of gag.
I mean, it is kind of cool. But I like Law, because Law hasn't done it. He hasn't done it yet, though.
Well, no, he did do it at least once.
Oh, really?
Like when they were climbing up the elephant's leg and you hear Ninja, he's got starry eyes.
Oh. Yeah.
Like right when they're climbing for the first time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. I did kind of. I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting or something. But yeah. So he's like, don't put your imaginations on me, you know. Ninja do not say nin nin. The ninja have your heads up, but fantasy.
Like Usopp's like, and you call yourself a ninja? Look at yourself. I know the Kunoichi won't even look at me. Well, just leave me be. Yeah. Eventually, they get all depressed. So he decides, okay, fine, and starts doing the jutsus.
Oh my gosh! He disappears and appears and he goes everywhere. It's kind of funny. And he does a clone jutsu. Oh my gosh!
Well, Law got his wish.
Flower shuriken. The ladies cringe when they see me. My foes around me. Raizo the mist in the flesh. Need. So he basically does what they wanted him to.
Yeah, it's like Raizo is our god. I like the little commentary. Yeah, I was about to say. I don't usually pay attention to those, so I missed that the first time. Oh, that was pretty good though. And
yeah.
So I'm wondering what we're going to see with that whole poneglyph thing, because that's my big thing now, especially for the different color. Because if I remember right, what Robin eventually discovered, I think was like on Skypiea, is that there are two types of poneglyph, like stones with information and stones that lead to those stones. So I'm wondering what the red one is going to be, if it's something completely different from those two, or if it's one of the stones of information.
Wasn't one of them like a letter?
Joy Boy, yeah, in Fishman Island.
Yeah. I wonder. Do you think? okay, I'm long shot. We obviously don't know much, but I'm definitely feeling I do. I'm pretty sure that maybe the D wrote that or has had to do something with the pony list because it's interesting it's interesting like Oda makes us really curious about this time, like the blank century.
Right.
I mean, a letter. I mean, we actually have a type of we actually can feel the emotion coming from the people who wrote these pony lists. Like the letter. And you can actually envision people from that time creating these things, and it's actually quite amazing that we don't know anything about the time, but we kind of was so invested in finding out all about it. Not even because that the government doesn't want to, but because I think he does a really good job of piquing out curiosity and really making it invested. Although speaking of, it's not going back to the chapter though. In terms of what's happened. This is a big fan letter to Kishimoto for Naruto. I mean, let's face it. I know.
And they are friends, if I remember right. So it's not like they're friendly.
They're friends of rivals. They are. Yeah. They're on good terms. And I do know they talk about each other. I know like Kishimoto said like he thinks that Oda is working too hard, so he feels like Oda deserves a break, and and Oda, I know, and also and remember that when Naruto ended, they had each of them had their own the logo of the other in the chapter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like they had like a little like special. Oda had a special chapter for when Naruto finished off.
Yeah.
Special chapter cover, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, so this is definitely a fan letter to Naruto. I mean, I know that it's not this is not exclusive. Ninjas are not exclusively Naruto, but let's face it, this is basically Naruto. Like they had clone jutsu. Like that's the big thing. Like clone jutsus, you know.
If my impulse is right, we could also be seeing some Dragon Ball.
So Earth release. I mean, like this is basically a love letter, or at least a fan letter to Kishimoto. Ninjas, this is his
nin. We are the shinobi who say nin.
But yeah.
Nin. You shall bring us a bamboo strawberry.
So, is that about it for this chapter?
Yeah. This was one of those little point A to B chapters. It had some fun moments, but other than getting our curiosity up about the poneglyph and to a lesser extent Raizo, it doesn't really give us a whole much to go with.
I'm curious, how powerful is Raizo, do you think?
I would say at the very least he's equal to the other two samurai, at bare minimum.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether he's stronger or weaker, otherwise I couldn't say, but I think we can anticipate them to at least be somewhat equal.
But I want to see how they work as a team, though. Like, the trio. So
they're obviously friends. I mean, obviously. So.
Each of them are pretty powerful, but like together, I'm thinking that maybe they can actually do some good damage to high-level enemies.
What I would almost like to see, based on that option, is maybe see the three of them be instrumental in taking down Jack.
Yeah, well, I was about to say something like that. Yeah,
because these minks got themselves trashed by Jack and his pirates for their sake.
So yeah, you think these guys can have revenge? And Jack was basically shown at the beginning of the chapter. So hey, it seems like we're leading somewhere.
Exactly.
Going back to the Mink country. So the Sanji thing might actually be on hold for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, Zoro's right. I mean, they have way too much on their hands. You got Kaido, you got Jack, you got the Big Mom. It's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, but so I think I would like to see the samurai possibly, like, if not do it themselves, and be a big part of why Jack gets taken out. Because with everything that's happened, I can imagine them like feeling honor bound to do so.
Oh, sorry, can you say again?
Oh, I can see the samurai and Raizo feeling honor bound to defeat Jack on their behalf.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, Raizo was pretty pissed off that they kind of chained him down.
Yeah.
So like, he might be wanting to get a chance. Yeah, we'll see. I hope this is actually an enemy that Luffy doesn't have to be the one to destroy, because I mean, like, he just defeated Doflamingo, and I feel like he should save himself for Kaido himself. So I feel
the alternative I could see is maybe a team battle.
Yeah, that was like a team battle, and the fact is, I think Jack's probably considered stronger than Doflamingo. So
yeah, I
mean
the implication is there just from this fact that Kaido is so much Kaido himself is obviously over Doflamingo.
Well, it's interesting because Doflamingo's backstory is all about him becoming the king, but it's kind of like, well, in the end, he was just kind of a servant.
He was the pawn.
Yeah, it's really interesting because he was all about controlling with strings. I mean, that's basically a metaphor in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's all about he was like has a celestial dragon blood, and people bowing to him, and he's talking about how he's the only one that matters. Everyone serves him. but yet at the end of the day, he was still just a lackey, a high level lackey, but a
Yeah.
lackey nonetheless. And Kaido was really one of the big guys shots of the manga in the manga. So yeah, that's about it for this chapter.
Yep. Yeah, so kind of a quick one this week, but it has been One Piece chapter 817, Raizo of the Mist. Go ahead and take us away.
All right.